When police began noticing an unusual number of animal carcasses along a specific stretch of highway, they thought it was just an odd coincidence. But as suspicions grew, an investigation revealed something far more disturbing. These weren't ordinary animal deaths. These were gruesome disguises for murder. Thomas Sullivan, a seemingly ordinary restaurant owner, was hiding a horrifying secret. Behind his business, he had killed 5 people, grinding their remains and sewing them into the bodies of dead animals. These animals were then left on the highway to be hit by cars, masking the traces of his horrific crimes. This is the chilling story of Thomas Sullivan, the roadkill murderer. Thomas Sullivan owned a modest restaurant in city/state. Known for being quiet and reserved, he kept mostly to himself, rarely interacting with his neighbors outside of business hours. But beneath his calm exterior was a deeply disturbed individual capable of unimaginable acts. At first, no one suspected a thing. Sullivan's restaurant was ordinary, his behavior unremarkable. But as time passed, bizarre occurrences began to raise suspicions. More and more animal carcasses started appearing on a specific highway near his restaurant. What appeared to be routine roadkill soon drew attention due to the sheer frequency and unnatural state of the remains. At first, the growing number of roadkill incidents was dismissed as a coincidence. But local residents began to notice something strange. Many of these animals appeared to have been tampered with. They were sewn up in odd ways, as if someone had tried to conceal something inside them. Local authorities launched an investigation after a particularly unusual incident where a large animal carcass split open on the highway, revealing what appeared to be human remains inside. Forensic analysis confirmed the horrifying truth. The remains inside the animals were human. This discovery sent shockwaves through the community. Investigators widened their search, examining more animal carcasses from the area. Each examination uncovered the same pattern. Human remains stuffed inside dead animals, their bodies sewn shut and left on the highway to be run over by cars. This was no coincidence. Someone was using this grotesque method to cover up murders. The forensic evidence pointed to a single individual, and the investigation soon led authorities to Thomas Sullivan. Police executed a search warrant at Sullivan's home and restaurant, uncovering a horrifying scene. In his basement, they found tools for animal dissection, industrial grinders, and bloodstains that revealed the extent of his crimes. Further investigation revealed that Sullivan had killed 3 men and 2 women over the course of several months. The victims were reported missing, but no one had connected their disappearances to Sullivan until now. Sullivan would murder his victims, grind their remains, and sew them into the bodies of dead animals. He then left these animals on the highway, hoping the passing cars would destroy evidence and make the bodies untraceable. To this day, Sullivan's exact motive remains unclear. Psychologists who evaluated him described him as a deeply disturbed individual with a need for control and an obsession with cleanliness and concealment. His restaurant business may have provided him with the tools and knowledge to carry out his gruesome crimes, but his reasoning for targeting his victims remains a mystery. Some speculate that his actions were driven by a need to completely erase his victims, literally grinding them into unrecognizable pieces. Others believe he enjoyed the thrill of manipulating investigators by disguising his crimes so effectively. Whatever the reason, Sullivan's actions reveal a terrifying level of premeditation and cruelty. Thomas Sullivan was arrested and charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder, as well as multiple counts of animal cruelty and evidence tampering. During his trial, the gruesome details of his crimes shocked the courtroom, with prosecutors presenting forensic evidence and testimonies from investigators who uncovered the human remains. Sullivan showed little emotion throughout the trial, refusing to explain his actions. The jury deliberated for only a few hours before finding him guilty on all charges. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, ensuring he would never harm anyone again. For the families of his victims, the sentencing brought some closure, but the trauma of his crimes will linger for years to come. The case of Thomas Sullivan is one of the most disturbing examples of a killer's attempt to hide their crimes. By using animal carcasses as a disguise, he thought he could outsmart investigators and avoid detection. But his horrific actions only served to highlight the depths of his depravity. While Sullivan may be behind bars, The scars left by his crimes remain in the community and the families of his victims. This case is a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance and the lengths some individuals will go to in order to conceal their crimes. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What drives someone to commit such heinous acts? And how can society better detect and prevent horrifying crimes like this? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more true crime stories.